Christmas, a time for joy, family, and ghost stories. Because what's the holiday season without a little spectral drama to go with your eggnog? That's right. While you're decking the halls, some ghosts are decking out your nightmares. So forget that jolly guy in the red suit. Tonight we're diving into 3 Christmas ghost tales that'll have you questioning if those footsteps on the roof are Santa or something way scarier. On today's Little Creepmas episode of Hollywood Paranormal, we visit a legend, a famous ghost tale, and one of our most popular Saturday Night Ghost Club episodes. If it's an OG, it's an oldie, but a goodie. If you've been a long-time Patreon member, then you know which one we're talking about. And this is a story that we collected from one of our friends who bought a little haunted house in Pasadena, and he encountered a little ghost that him and his family call the Fraggle. I'm not even joking. We've got haunted halls, phantom carolers, and one ghost who just really wants to RSVP to Christmas dinner. So grab that salt lamp, you know the drill. Grab that mistletoe because you might make out with a ghost. It could happen if you drink too much eggnog or you put a little too much bourbon in that cocoa. Turn down the lights and prepare to get spooked holiday style. And don't worry, we promise this episode is only mildly cursed. So let's get into it before Krampus shows up. I think that's it. Let's get Hollyweird with Krampus and these ghost stories. Hey friends, before we jump into this episode, we have a couple of announcements to make. First and foremost, once again, congratulations to our friends over at the Mystic Museum and Camp Horror for opening up Horror Bodega. If you don't know what it is, guys, you're missing out. If you live in and around the Los Angeles area and you like that little stretch of Magnolia Boulevard in Burbank, then you should know about this one little special spooky nugget called Horror Bodega. And that's what it is, guys. It is a bodega, but it's a bodega because it is a terrorific snack wonderland. It is conveniently located between Lucifer's Pizza and the Mystic Museum and Camp Horror. Like, if you know about Magnolia Boulevard, then you know that it is a spooky horror Wonderland Boulevard. I mean, it has everything. Spooky, ooky, and horrific. If you know about Halloween Town, Blast from the Past. There's further down, there's Cricket Path. Then you have Lucifer's Pizza if you want some goth, spooky, evil pizza. And then, of course, right next door, it's the beautiful Horror Bodega. Like, it has everything you could think of to satisfy your spooky snack attack needs. Like, I went there last weekend. Amazing. Like, anything you can think of, they had, like edible brains. It was like gummy brains. And then they have space peach rings. It's like dried candy. They have these really interesting and eclectic flavors of soda, like Monster Mash and Alien Snot to quench or kill your thirst. And also some pretty amazing candies like Beetlejuice, Jason, Friday the 13th, Freddy Krueger candy. They have it all there. Even horror inspired like kitchen utensils and coffee and chips, things that you can't find anywhere else. It's there. And let me tell you, perfect place for stocking stuffers and last minute gifts, guys. Like, I got a couple of my friends some like Halloween face masks that are in the shape of like a ghost, pumpkin, and bat. And then on top of that, I got them these Banish blemish stickers. They're so cute. Like, you have to go and you have to see it. Our friend Ansley Spooky Foodie is obsessed with it. If you've seen her video, then you know. And they also gifted us this little like mystery box that had like chamoy gummies, a horror inspired lighter. It had the gremlins on it and stickers and like spooky hot chocolate that turned lime green. I mean, it's amazing. And I am a big sucker for chamoy candy. I don't know about you guys, but like, I like a good chamoy gummy. The spicier, the sweeter, the spookier, the better. Okay. So if you're in around Burbank, Los Angeles, go and check out Horror Bodega. Another little tiabet. Bryce and myself, yes, Bryce is still a part of this podcast, guys. Bryce has now gotten his life back. Like, I'm not even joking. He is still a part of Hollyweird. He had to take a major hiatus because of his work and also his side hustle schedule as an actor. He's been killing it in the North Hollywood stages, but also he's almost killed himself with his job. And it's been a while. We know we had dinner this past weekend with a new BFF. His name is Frankie, and he is leading one of the most amazing and most important Paracon festivals that is about to happen in Chicago this coming June. You've heard us talking about it, guys. It's the Windy City Parafest. And this festival goes from June the 12th through the 14th this coming summer of 2025. If you're interested in getting tickets, you can do so by going to windycityparafest.com for more information and to purchase tickets. If you buy tickets before December 25th, FYI, you will receive a free copy of a spooky coloring and activity book. Guys, I'm looking at it right now. Frankie, I really do. There's something about coloring books, but coloring a Mothman and a UFO trying to steal a cow from a field, I'm all for it. Okay. This is what you get. All right. You could literally find this and see it on their website, but a little information about Windy City, guys. This is not your average paranormal conference. No, it's a social event focused to celebrate everyone that is weird and spooky and strange, especially those who love to talk about the spooky, strange, and unexplained, from spirits and cryptids to UFOs, psychic phenomenon, hauntings, and all things wonderfully weird. This is the place. For 3 days in the heart of Chicago's magical summer, you'll dive deep into a thrilling lineup. And that's what we were talking about during dinner, is how beautiful and magical Chicago is in the summer. Everyone defrosts and then they get into their chunkless and their shorts and they have fun. I've been there. I've been to Chicago during the summer. There is a different vibe, man. It's not like when you go to New Orleans for the summer, it's like you melt. You go from hot to really hot to crispy. No, here it's delicious, right? And when you mix the paranormal in with this, it's going to be even more amazing. You'll be definitely cooling off with some spine-tingling storytelling, live podcasts, cocktail parties, sultry burlesque shows, paranormal investigations, gallery readings, and a paranormal Pictionary led by kindred spirits' favorite little ghost hunter, Adam Berry. And you get to enjoy spooky art shows and even take a haunted cemetery tour, shop unique vendors, and there's also a haunted 80s prom. Hosted by the prom queens, we love them, Nicole and Noelle from Quite Unusual Podcast. So you definitely don't want to miss it. If you do buy your tickets, like I said, before December 25th, you will get that spooky coloring book. All right, Frankie, FYI, write that down. I want one, and get one for Bryce too. Another thing too, if you love Hollyweird Paranormal Podcast, we would love for you to drop us a nice little review on Apple Podcasts. Give us a nice little 5-star rating. It helps us indie podcasters become a little more visible. And if you have a little more extra time, you can travel to our socials. You can stalk us on Facebook and Instagram at Hollyweird Paranormal, or visit X and follow us at HWP Podcast. Same with Threads. We're at Hollyweird Paranormal. If you want to go the distance and join our little spooky little society on Patreon, become a little Hollyweird Patreon, help donate to this podcast to keep this Hollyweird train moving, then you can go to patreon.com/Hollyweird Paranormal. And for as little as $1 or more per month, you can help support the podcast for however many months you wish. We thank each and every one of you that are currently donating to the podcast and have donated in the past. We love you. We if we were ghosts, we would haunt you in a good way. Don't worry. That's how much we love each and every one of you. And there are perks. You'll be inducted to our Saturday Night Ghost Club. There is a secret podcast there, guys, where we collect ghost stories from our friends, acquaintances, workers, people off the street, because you've heard it before. Everyone has a ghost story, and we've collected these ghost stories and put them in this spooky little secret podcast for you called Saturday Night Ghost Club. On top of that, we have videos of past investigations and interviews that you can definitely view, especially us doing the Estes method in the Queen Mary ship in the rope hold. Yes, you'll get to see Bryce participate in something you never thought he would participate in, and you get to see all that. So if you travel to patreon.com/Hollyweird Paranormal, you'll get to learn more about the Patreon page and its little perks. All right, friends, now let's get Hollyweird. 'Tis the season to be haunted, right? Not only jolly, but definitely haunted. You think that sharing ghost stories stops at the end of October? Have you been listening to the podcast? No, it's year round. So we're going to continue this because it's the season to be jolly, but it is the season to be very, very spooky and haunted. And we decided what pairs very well with eggnog and Christmas lights? Ghost stories. Yeah, you might be thinking ghost stories at Christmas. Heck yeah, have you been listening to this podcast once again for the first time? Probably you have. You probably have, because we've talked about this almost every year, how Christmas is one of the most haunted times of the year. I mean, if you think about it, one of the most famous ghost stories to date is not only just a famous ghost story, but it's also one of the most famous Christmas tales. And that is A Christmas Carol by Charles Dickens. It has everything. It has an ornery old man, it has ghosts, and it has more ghosts. There you go. Perfect. So as you all know, it's Ebenezer Scrooge is the main character. He gets visited by not three, but 4 ghosts. Everybody forgets this. There is a 4th ghost. He is visited and warned by his predecessor, Marley, that he's going to be visited by the ghost of Christmas past, Christmas present, and Christmas yet to come. So in tradition of A Christmas Carol, we're going to do that. We're going to break it down into 3. You'll be visited by 3 ghost stories. You hear me? There's going to be a Christmas legend, a famous Christmas tale, and one of our favorite listeners' tales stories from our Saturday Night Ghost Club Patreon. This is an oldie but a goodie, because nothing pairs super well with your eggnog and Christmas lights than a ghost story, right? And while we're all familiar with tales of Santa, mistletoe, and family gatherings, there's a darker side to the holiday season that's often overlooked. Stories that have been whispered around the fireplace for centuries. So in today's episode, we'll uncover the legend of Krampus. Oh yes, Señor Krampus, the dark horned figure who punishes naughty children, making sure they think twice before misbehaving. And then we'll take a trip to Hearth Hollow, where a famous Christmas haunting has haunted the town for generations. And to wrap things up, we've got one of the craziest listeners' tales we've ever received. I mean, it was so good. We're like, we have to save it for our patrons. Like, this is a golden nugget of ghost stories involving a little creature that the folks who've been experiencing these weird going-ons in their little house in Pasadena have called it the Fraggle. Trust me, you definitely want to hear this one. So I want you to grab your hot cocoa. I'm going to turn on the lights. And you're going to settle in, because tonight we're telling ghost stories, Christmas style. Cue spooky Christmas music. This is the legend of Krampus, the naughty list's worst nightmare. And trust me, you don't want to be on his list. Now, Krampus, I don't know if you guys have known about this dude, But let me give you a little background about him, all right? Krampus is like the goth cousin of Santa Claus. He's dark, moody, and absolutely here to ruin your Christmas if you've been bad. Hailing from Alpine folklore, think Austria and Germany. Krampus dates back to pre-Christian times when he was possibly tied to pagan winter solstice shenanigans. His name comes from the German word Krampen, meaning claw. So yes, he's already giving major villain vibes, for sure. Now here's the legend. Krampus is St. Nicholas's evil +1. Now while Santa rewards good kids with presents, Krampus brings chains, birch branches, and the ultimate holiday upgrade, trauma. Childhood trauma. Misbehaving kids, he'll whip them. Like, you know about the faja, the chancla? All right, he brings a basket full of those, plus birch branches. I mean, he whips them into shape, scares them, or depending on how naughty they've been, toss them in his sack and then take them straight to hell. No gift receipts for that trip. There's no returns. Every December 5th during Krampusnacht or Krampus night, people dress as him and parade through the streets, scaring everyone in sight. It's like Halloween got drunk and crashed Christmas, but everyone's kind of into it, and they're all into the whipping, if you know what I mean. We'll move forward from that. But Krampus didn't stop at the Alpine villages. No. This is where we bring in the Hollywood element in this Hollyweird podcast, all right? Krampus is kind of a big deal, and he blew up in 2015. He made it big in Hollywood. You see, it all started with a little Finnish horror film in 2010 called Rare Exports, a Christmas tale. Think Santa's a jolly old guy? Nope. This Finnish horror flick says he's a nightmare, and Krampus might just be his buddy. And if you see this film, you'll see like the creature Krampus, and it is scary. Then we have 2015's Krampus, which was directed by Michael Dougherty. It's a horror comedy that shows Krampus as a monstrous holiday enforcer. Naughty family, Krampus actually rolls in with his evil gingerbread men and a demonic toy army. Just forget the cult. Forget cult. This is next level punishment, not just for the naughty kids, but it's just like the entire family. It's just bad. And what happens to them? Crazy. Then finally, in 2015, he's in another film. Like, he's working. All right. He's like Tom Cruise with all of his Mission Impossible films. There's a Christmas horror story. It's Santa versus Krampus in a WWE style holiday smackdown. Enough said. That's all I have to tell you. So Krampus is like the holiday icon we didn't know we needed. A festive, slightly terrifying reminder that maybe you should think twice before stealing the last cookie. After all, Santa might forgive you, but Krampus, he's already sharpening his claws and carving out his little birch branches. Finally, we go into a very popular Christmas ghost tale. I don't know if some of you guys have heard about this, but I know overseas it's pretty popular. It's called The Haunting of Hearth Hollow, a Christmas ghost tale. Picture this: Hearth Hollow, a creaky old English manor where the Christmas spirit isn't just a vibe, it's a literal ghost. The legend goes that every Christmas Eve, the ghost of Lady Eleanor shows up in her Victorian nightgown, looking less Silent Night and more Silent Fright, all right? It's always a lady ghost in a lady ghost Victorian nightgown, always. I'm here for it. And I will definitely be here to see if the slippers match the gown. That's just me, personally. Now, fast forward to today. A modern family moves in thinking it's just a little old world charm. But charm quickly turns to something very creepy. The tree starts decorating itself. Carols play from a broken radio, and their kid swears a lady in white is lurking near the eggnog. Classic haunted house stuff. It's always the kid, and he's always the one that sees the ghosts. And you know when the kid sees the ghosts that it goes downhill from there, right? So naturally the dad, because dads never believe in ghosts. In every haunted story, horror film, they just don't believe in the monster under the bed and the ghosts that are haunting the house that are standing right behind them. But the dad insists it's all in their heads. That is until Eleanor herself finally shows up on Christmas Eve with a message. And that message is, help me find peace, or I'll keep scaring the tinsel out of you every year. But staying up all night to solve a 19th century ghosts drama can be pretty exhausting, right? This is where Magic Mind saves the day. Imagine the family. Just imagine a family sipping this little productivity elixir loaded with matcha, nootropics, and adaptogens. Now they're laser focused, calm, and ready to solve ghost mysteries and wrap presents. Now, we all know how hard it can be to stay focused with so many distractions, right? And for years, I thought I had to be stressed out and running on caffeine to get anything done. But after trying Magic Mind, guys, I can say that's definitely not the case anymore. You see, Magic Mind is a mental performance shot packed with so many delicious and beneficial ingredients to help boost focus, reduce stress, and give you smooth, sustained energy. Now, for the past couple weeks, I've been drinking it every morning, and I'm noticing a huge difference. There's no more caffeine crashes, no more feeling foggy after lunch, just steady focus all day long, right? Plus, it doesn't give me the jitters like coffee and that shot of espresso I need to have by 3 p.m. What I love about it is that it's not a quick fix. It's a product that actually works with your body for long-term mental performance. With ingredients like cognizin and cytocholine for brain clarity and ceremonial matcha for clean energy, it's designed to help you perform at your best without burning out. And here's the best part, Magic Mind is giving you an exclusive deal. If you use the code word HollyW20, that's HollyW20 at checkout to get 48% off your first subscription or 20% off a one-time purchase. Plus, they're 100% carbon neutral. Didn't you know that? And they donate 5 cents per bottle to mental health charities. Even better. So if you want to feel the difference for yourself, head to magicmind.com and use HollyW20. That's HOLLYW20 to get your discount. Trust me, you'll notice the change. Now, the family is fueled by Magic Mind, and they find Eleanor's long-lost letters hidden in the attic. It turns out her boyfriend got locked in the stables by her angry parents, and she froze outside waiting for him. Ghosting, like literally, like this is the epitome of ghosting, right? Victorian style. The family reads the letters by the fire, and Eleanor cries ghost tears, like poof. She is wailing. She ascends to ghost heaven, finally at peace. So the moral of the story, always communicate your feelings and maybe keep some Magic Mind on hand just in case your holiday season involves restless spirits or restless kids. Seriously. Or you just add that extra shot or two of bourbon into your eggnog and we're all fine, right? And finally, this leads us to our final ghost story. I would say it's like the ghost of Christmas past than the ghost of Christmas yet to come. But this story is one of my favorite ghost stories that I've collected. This was for our Saturday Night Ghost Club. This was our first episode on that podcast, on that secret podcast for all of you guys who are Patreon members, then you know. If you're not, then you definitely want to join that Patreon, right? If you want to hear these stories. But the story of the Fraggle that was shared to me, accompanied by a picture, literally gave me the chills that night. Like I couldn't go to sleep. Like I kind of want to delete this photo that this guy had given me, Sean. So I meet Sean at David Owen's house. He was there for a ghost hunt. Really nice guy, teddy bear. I just wanted to poke his tummy so he can just share with me some more ghost stories, like Teddy Ruxpin, like a haunted Teddy Ruxpin, right? And he did that. He like showed me pictures. He lives in an old house in Pasadena with his family, beautiful family. And this house had a lot of like really interesting stories. He had a lot of interesting ghost stories surrounding the house and the area of Pasadena. If you know Pasadena, especially Old Pass, then you know, right? It's a pretty historical area, and it also has a heap of ghost stories that myself and yes, Bryce will definitely share on this episode one day when he comes back. And I wanted to present to you guys with the story of the Fraggle, and feel free to go to our Instagram to see the picture of the said Fraggle. Now, I posted it on Instagram many years ago because this story was actually collected. I think it was in 2018 or 2019. And when I said it's an oldie but a goodie, it really is. And when I posted it, people thought, oh, that looks like a creature. But others said, no, it looks like the back of someone's head. So it's open to interpretation. Really, if you want to go see it, it'll be on there. And here is Sean's story of the Fraggle.
Hey, my name is Sean Bishop, and I am a storyboard artist in the animation industry in LA. And this is a story about my creepy-ass house in Pasadena.
Oh, God.
That was hella haunted when I bought it by something that was living in the bedroom closet.
When did you buy the house?
I bought it in 2008.
Oh, wow. So you've been living there for a while.
Yeah. So I bought it, and it was actually so haunted. And the story is so long, I can only tell small parts of it for now because there's so much to it. But when I did buy it, I was living in a condo in Valencia. And it was so bad, the energy was so bad there, I was actually going to not move into the house that I bought, stay in my apartment that I was originally going to rent out, and I was going to rent the house out instead because I'm like, I can't stay in these walls. That's how heavy it was. It was bad. But the scariest thing was the night that we took pictures in the house.
Oh, no.
And there was a group of people there doing sort of, not an investigation, but just sort of a walkthrough because they were about to do a cleansing. And we went into the main bedroom that was the problem spot. And we shut all the lights off. And we just sort of stood there and started waiting for stuff to happen. And suddenly the rattan blind started going, dish, dish, just moving back and forth.
Oh, my God.
All in unison at the same time and speed. And then they all stopped. And we were like, okay. And then the closet door opened by itself. We were watching the crystal doorknob slowly turn.
No.
Yeah. And we're all sitting there, and the door opened by itself, thumped against the wall. Of course, there's just a pitch black triangle staring out at us. And my buddy Gary turned on the lights, and at the same time, someone snapped a photo. And I'm going to have to find the photo. When I do, I will send it to you. Because I had it on my phone, and I deleted it because it gave me such anxiety to see.
Oh,
in fact,
no.
Everybody who looked at the photo, they're like, I don't like the way that makes me feel. I'm like, yeah, it should.
Yeah, and you live with that in your house.
So what I can only describe as peeking up out of the corner of the frame, like it was peeking at the camera, looked like a black version of Cookie Monster.
Oh, hell no.
And it had whitish sort of indication of eyes that look, and to the point where people started calling it the Fraggle. But it was one of these, it gave me such a bad vibe to see that thing on film. And none of us could ever figure out what it was. But Jesus Christ, if I can find the picture, I will send it to you, and it'll give you anxiety.
And if we do get it, guys, we'll post it on our Patreon page.
Course, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Call it the Fraggle.
The Fraggle,
The
absolutely.
Fraggle. Yeah, it's...
Oh, my God.
Yeah, it was bad.
So... when did this occur? Like, did this occur right when you bought the house and moved in, or was it just like within a couple of years, like things started to escalate? It was the 3.5 months that I took to fix the house up myself, like paint and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So I wasn't staying in the house; I was going there to work on it. And increasingly, the more and more time that house was empty, the more bad vibes seemed to
glom on to the empty space.
Oh my God. And what we were just discussing downstairs, like, you guys did your homework on the house.
We did.
And you couldn't find anything.
No.
No attachment of, like, anything, any violent history, like devil worshipping. But you did find out that it had several owners, and it was rented out at one point.
Yep, for 25 years, a steady stream of renters in and out of the 3 sort of spaces, 3 apartments that they had sectioned off. And who knows what the hell they could have been doing.
But then you also mentioned something about the land, and also who was bringing in some crazy ass shit.
Any of your lovely Patreons and will know who Jack Parsons is. The father of modern solid stage rocket fuel. Did all sorts of shit to open up portals and stuff out there. He was monkeying around in a 2-mile radius of where my house is, and a lot of houses in that area experience phenomenon. It's interesting.
Wow.
In fact, the funny thing was, you'll appreciate this. Because you lovely people listening can't see me, but I look a little bit like a baby Wookiee. So when I toured the house, there were tenants living in it, and there was this very, very sweet lady named Mila who was living in the entire bottom area, and she was an aromatherapist and a yoga and Reiki and stuff like that. So I came into the house, I stepped over the threshold, and it was one of those things where it's like, it was the spiritual equivalent of sort of smelling something under, like a bad smell underneath.
Would you say it smelled like rotting or sulfur?
It wasn't even. It was the spiritual equivalent of something doesn't feel right here. Something don't smell right. You know what I mean? I was like, but it was covered up, like stench covered with perfume type of thing. I would say that's what the energy felt like to me.
Kind of like when somebody farts. And
there was the dog. But she had a beautiful white German Shepherd that was just gorgeous, and the dog seemed pretty okay.
Oh, no.
But I said to her, because I was touring the house, and after going through a couple of rooms, I went into where the back bedroom was and everything like that, and that was where I could feel it the most, and that was the problem place where you got the Fraggle in the closet eventually. But I sat there for a second. I talked to her. I came up to her and I said, hey, I'm going to ask you a silly question, because much like I look like a baby Wookiee, you wouldn't expect this question to come out of me. But I was like, what's the energy like here? You know what? I think it did surprise her that I asked that. But she was like, but it's funny because she did a very pointed, she looked at me, and then she looked at the real estate agent, and she goes, I don't know what I'm allowed to say. I went, oh, shit. Well, he's not the house police, so you can't get in trouble. And I'm thinking of buying this place, so what's the deal? I feel like there's something.
Yeah.
And she goes, it was awful when I moved in. She goes, it was super heavy. She goes, but I've done a lot to change the energy. I said, you have, because I can feel that.
Yeah.
But whatever was there was still fucking there.
Wow.
She had tamped it back, and it didn't like whatever she was doing with all of her essential oils and incense and everything like that. So it was a very peaceful house, and the dog seemed okay. So I was like, all right. But once she was gone, and I came back and that house was empty, it felt like The Shining. It was awful.
God.
I stepped over the threshold when it was empty, and it was a whole different thing. I was like, whoa. It felt like someone put a blanket. You know how we used to talk about the pushing down feeling?
Yeah.
Right over the threshold. I was like, whoa. I went, ooh. I was like, what is that? And the further back into the house you went, the worse it got.
God.
But the Fraggle, that's definitely the scariest thing.
That was the scariest, the Fraggle.
That was it.
Oh my God.
Does that thing watch me sleep? Like,
I wonder.
What was it?
But you've never seen it.
No, no, it's gone. Everything is gone. We had the house cleansed.
Oh, wow.
We did cleansing of our own. My wife and I have done a lot to bring the energy up. I filled it with friends. We had parties every night. We played board games. We ate pizza. We raised the energy that we worked our asses off to raise the energy of that house. And now we've got 4 animals and a toddler and 2 in-laws living in it. It's a house full of heartbeats and laughter. So we completely changed it around. But
that's amazing. You took control of your house. You're like, bitch, I live in California.
Yeah.
You have no idea how much the property taxes
Well,
are
I was
here.
joking. I was like, if there's going to be ghosts that live there, should fucking pay rent because,
mortgage?
Help me out.
This much.
Wash a dish, asshole. Please.
Now, there's something else that is not only attached to the house, but it seems like it's attached to the garage.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we have a dude that comes in there, and we call him the Man in White. Because everyone who's seen him says he's wearing white. He's wearing a white shirt and I think white pants. And he comes and he opens the refrigerator and then disappears.
He's enjoying Miller time.
That's fine, man. If we could...
He's enjoying Miller time in the afterlife.
Yeah, in the afterlife. I If you've gone through death and shuffled off the mortal coil, I think you've earned a beer. You know, I mean, please, buddy.
Damn right.
Keep a couple there for you, you know? So, yeah, it's interesting. I think all of Pasadena is very, very charged.
It is very
with
charged.
stuff.
My co-host and I couldn't vouch for that. We did 2 shows at the Pasadena Playhouse, and both of those nights we felt and seen some
Hella
things that
haunted.
I can't explain. No one can explain. Like, even the feeling of leaving there, we felt very decompressed when we left. To our personal homes and stuff. We're like, wow, I just feel like I'm trying to decompress something icky, in my body.
Shed something
out.
Yeah.
Wow, that is insane. That's crazy. But I'm so happy to know that it was like a positive turnout in your house, that you guys took control.
It is. And the funny thing is, there's still shit that happens there.
Do you think it's the Fraggle?
No.
No,
Oh, God,
absolutely
no. It's
not.
all good energy.
But you feel like it's other energies that are just like passerbys, right?
Pass-throughs. That's what we call them.
Damn.
And we'll have upticks in activity, and then, there'll be nothing for like a year.
That's
and then
so
suddenly
interesting.
we'll hear something crash in the other room. I'll get up, there's nothing there, just phantom sounds.
Oh, man.
I'll tell you another one that you'll get a kick out of,
Okay.
because it's got to be whatever the charge is of the house, the energy there, and maybe the land, because we lost our cat Ripley.
I'm sorry.
We had to have her put down several years ago because get kitty cancer, that happens. But she used to have a very specific routine where she'd come up and she'd headbutt the door, and if it was open to latch, she'd push it open,
Right.
and you'd see one little black paw push it open as the door opens, and she would come in, walk around the TV stand on our bed, and then jump up on the right side of the bed, and then curl up and go to sleep. So about 3 weeks after she died, so laying in bed one night, the lights are all on, and we hear goom, 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 goom at the door. And I'm thinking, oh, it must be my other cat. And I look, and he's on the edge of the bed. And I go, oh. And suddenly, boom, door opens. I see the little black paw go down, and I see her perfect silhouette. I hear her claws on the ground. She goes around the TV, and then nothing jumps up on the bed.
Oh, my God.
And I said to my wife, I'm like, do you see? She goes, that was Ripley, wasn't it? I was like, and you could see the covers depressed with the 4 little feet.
Oh my God.
And then it went step, 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 and no more footsteps.
Was that the only time?
Yep.
Wow.
It was the only time.
You think that Ripley came back to say, I'm all right,
I
I'm
think
here
so.
looking after you guys?
That's how I take it.
Yeah, of course.
Just to say goodbye. And I was like, that
We've
was
had listeners share stories
awesome.
like that. That's awesome.
I was stunned at how much closure that gave me, just to do that. It's like, Jesus, if only our loved ones had the ability to fucking just do that and come by one last time, be like, I'm okay, but at least
some of them do.
Some of them do.
Yeah, but that's so amazing. Oh my
All I've had is a cat, but I'll take it. It was pretty faith affirming, actually.
Yeah.
So
that's such a great story.
It's a good story to end on, right?
Yeah, thank you so
You're
much,
very
Sean.
welcome.
You're about to make
you
me
have
cry.
to come out to the house.
No, I will.
Please.
I'm going to bring my proton pack.
Please
Don't laugh at the proton pack.
No,
but
we will give you parts.
Just honor it.
Does
Yes.
does it have lights?
Yes.
Good.
I made sure.
Good.
That was the first question I asked the seller on eBay. I was like, does it have lights?
That's so awesome. We'll open it up and look at what you have in there.
Yes.
Maybe we can put something better in.
Oh, it's just an empty shell. I just bought it.
That's
'cause
what
it was
they all are.
Yeah, I just wanted it because I'm like, I just need a proton pack.
Of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is
Either that or I make one out of paper mache.
Yep.
So.
Yep.
Well, thank you so much, Sean.
You're very welcome. I was happy to do this.
Yes, this was amazing. I think that the universe brought us together to share these.
I am
spooky tales.
glad. I can't get enough of this stuff. So.
Me too.
Yeah.
All right. Till
All
next time, guys, and thank you so much, Sean.
Thank you, listeners.
Bye.
Bye.
I'm telling you, this is why it is one of our favorite ghost stories. Bryce hates to listen to it, so this is why he's not a part of this episode. But Sean and the story, definitely one of our favorite people and stories to date. And we hope that you enjoyed this little Creepmas episode, guys. We hope that you stay merry and that you stay spooky and that you stay safe. Have a wonderful Christmas. Don't worry, we'll be coming out with some more episodes. We have another crossover episode with Brujo 101 brewing in the works. That'll be airing next week, of course. And then we take a little break. And then we're back in action, of course, with Bryce. Don't worry, he's coming back. He is getting as much beauty sleep and getting adjusted to his new schedule. Trust me, he is adjusting to his new life, and it's great. Trust me. Because he knows that if he doesn't come back, Krampus is going to get him with birches and all. I don't know. Bryce might be into that. But who knows? Big spoon, little spoon. We'll figure that out, right? All right, guys. Till next time, be sure to stay weird, but most of all, that you stay holly weird this holiday season. Till next time, friends, stay safe.